Perfect timing. Andy, is it okay if we start?
Yes, we are ready to go.
Right.
Jason didn't hang up his phone. He won't be able to hear us in closed session, will he?
No, because we're going to go into
Oh, that's
a
right.
room.
Okay. We're good. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Temple City Unified School District Board of Education for Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. We'll do our roll call first. Member Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
Member Espinosa,
Here.
Member Lynn,
Here.
I am here, Member Nolenberg.
Here.
Okay, and our student board member will be joining us at 7 o'clock. Item 3 is public comment on closed session agenda items. And I don't have any, and Marie doesn't have any either. So we'll move on to item 4, which is closed session. Disclosure of items to be discussed in closed session. There is one. It's personnel matters, government code 54957. Public employee appointment, discipline, dismissal, and release. So would someone like to make a motion to adjourn
I'll
closed
motion.
session?
I'll second it.
I heard motion by member Espinosa, and who was second?
I'll second it.
Second by member Nolenberg. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Member Smith,
Yes.
member Espinosa,
Yes.
member Lynn.
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. We're adjourned to closed session at 6:02 p.m.
What do we have to do?
Yeah, we'll have to move.
We will be back by 7.
Everybody's gone.
All right. Oh, so I have 3 people that went in. I guess we can just tell them to come back
Who went in?
at 7. Oh, yeah, more little ones.
Your portion of the meeting's gonna start at 6:55. So you can rejoin the meeting at 6:55. If not, you'll have to wait like almost an hour in silence. So Mr. Rose will contact you, but at 6:55, just log on the same link. Okay?
Are we ready, gang?
Ready. Look at you guys. You all look so nice.
No.
Thank you, boys and girls, for coming tonight. I'm so excited. Thanks, Mr. Rose.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, the two of you.
Of course.
You make us look good.
We came an
tried.
hour early. Yeah.
I did after we left. I got a little apology. Sorry, saying sorry. I forgot. I didn't tell you it was to come at 7 instead of 6. So
Well, we had a feeling, but we were just
I had a feeling too, but I wasn't sure if they were doing things different because it was virtual. So
right.
anyways,
Yeah, it's all good.
no worries. No worries.
Yeah.
Kara, sit back so we could see your Ted Ed shirt.
We got our momager here. I love it.
Wait.
Hold on. Hi, Abby.
Celebrity appearance.
Abby's kind of like an honorary club member.
Just getting prepared a few years early.
Right. Hi, Clarissa.
Hi,
I was like, wait, is that Clarissa? My Clarissa? How are you?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you.
I haven't seen you in years. I don't know when I had you, like second grade. Wait,
what
I
grade
forgot
are
what
you in
grade.
now?
I'm a senior.
Oh my gosh.
Wrong thing to say.
What? Oh my God. But how did that happen? I am the same age.
You look the same.
Oh, awesome. Good answer.
I had you back when you were Miss Honeywell.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
It's like one of my staff meetings. It's so quiet. You know.
I'm looking for people.
Jason, I cannot
See,
believe your
maybe they're-
staff meetings are quiet.
Until I start talking, and then they start objecting to everything I say. But up until that point, it's pretty quiet.
We lost our most chatty ones last year. That's why our staff meetings are so quiet this year.
Oh, that's super sad.
No, I think they've given up. They know that they aren't going to win, so they just don't even argue with me anymore. I think that's what it is.
I think it's because you're so intimidating. You're so scary.
Okay.
I am like the boogeyman. Yeah, that's scary.
Okay, I think we have everybody back. So we'll go ahead and reconvene to open session at 7:02 p.m. And can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by member Smith,
Second?
second by member Lynn. Roll call vote. Member Espinosa,
F-R-R-E.
Yes.
member Lynn,
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg,
Yes.
member Smith.
Yes.
Okay, the motion to reconvene carries 5-0. Announcement, tonight's meeting is being digitally recorded. And item 8 is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could please stand, and Dr. Lynn always has a picture of the flag in his background, so that's something nice that we can look at. And if you'll follow along, please. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Item 9 is announcement of actions taken in closed session, and there were no actions taken. And now on to the fun things. Item 10, which is social recognition presentations. Tonight we have 2, and we're going to start off with one of my favorite programs, the La Rosa Elementary School TED Ed Club. And Mr. Rose, are you going to introduce our teachers?
Sure, yeah, I'll start off. First of all, Board of Education, good evening. Thank you for having us. Good evening, Dr. Fricker, Cabinet, and all of our Temple City families that are with us tonight. It's a wonderful opportunity. We always like to show off the good things that we are doing, especially during this time of distance learning. Sometimes things kind of get pushed off to the side, and I'm very proud of our school and our teachers for all the programs that they keep going. And this one especially is close to our heart. We take a lot of pride in it. And my job is to let the people do what they do best and get out of their way. And that is why I have brought 2 of our all-stars here tonight to let them kind of share and show off what our wonderful kids are doing. So I would like to introduce Miss Cindy Young and Miss Emily Seltzer. Miss Young is our 2nd grade teacher, and Miss Seltzer is our school counselor. And I'm very proud of them for taking this on. It would have been very easy for them to say, you know what, now is not the time to do this. But I'm very proud of them for still taking this on and working with the kids, and especially our kids who added on just another Zoom meeting for them during the day. So at this time, though, I would like to introduce Ms. Young to kind of talk a little bit about our program. And thank you again for having us tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. I appreciate that. And of course, I always appreciate your support. You do let us fly, and I always appreciate that. So thank you. So good evening. Again, I'm Cindy Young, and I teach 2nd grade at La Rosa. I would like to thank you for inviting us to share one of the many great things that's happening at La Rosa Elementary School. Thank you for allowing me and Ms. Seltzer to share something that is close to our hearts and we think makes La Rosa a little extra special. So La Rosa is this place where we get to spend our days with the sweetest and kindest kids. And being a TK through third grade school, we get to have the littles, and we feel like we're small but mighty. Ms. Seltzer and I are here tonight to share the great things that our third grade students are doing in our TED Ed Club. And I would like to say a huge thank you to our TED Ed students and their families for being here tonight. We are so proud of you. We are grateful for your bravery, for sharing yourselves and your heart every week. So thank you for being here tonight. And in just a moment, we're going to introduce all of you and even have one of our members speak. So our TED Ed Club aims to spark and celebrate the passions and ideas of our students. That's our main goal. And we strive to nurture a generation of problem solvers who work together to express their ideas we're spreading. And we believe these problem solvers and these critical thinkers and explorers and innovators have voices that have the power to change the world. TED Ed is a platform to give our students a place to share their ideas and feelings, as well as things that are meaningful to them. It's a place for our students to feel seen and heard. And Ms. Seltzer and I want our students to know that we hear them, that we see them, and we value their voice. Our goal is to elevate them. This is a space created by our students. They have the freedom to make this club what they want it to be, what they need it to be. Ms. Seltzer and I are there to facilitate and encourage our kids to be themselves, to put themselves out there a little bit, to be brave, because it's kind of scary to speak in front of your peers, but they so bravely do it. But honestly, they're the drivers. This is their club, and we want them to own that. And we provide this safe space for them to tap into their innermost feelings and passions. They make connections with themselves and with their fellow club mates. I feel like TED Ed gives our students a landing place where they feel connected in a time where connection is so critical, yet obviously limited. Our kids don't see each other, really, except for their own class. And so I think sort of a side benefit of this is that they get to see kids from other classes, and they do a lot of talking, which is, I think, extra special for them. So we're grateful that we can offer that through our weekly club meetings. We know our kids are resilient. They have showed their grit in the face of enormous obstacles and challenges. But they have not allowed themselves to be deterred by this pandemic. In fact, last spring, we were also at La Rosa. Ms. Seltzer and I decided, let's keep going. We had a club going, and we asked the kids, do you want to keep going with this over Zoom? And they did. And we had a virtual showcase, and we had over 50 audience members. So it's pretty amazing. Our kids want their voices to be heard, and we want to listen. And we're grateful for their perseverance. And though Ms. Seltzer and I are learning how to meet the needs of our students in this virtual environment, and I know, Ms. Seltzer, I'm working extra long hours each day. I'm learning every day how to effectively reach my students online, and I know Ms. Seltzer's doing the same. But we knew we needed to offer TED Ed to our students in addition to teaching our own classes. We've stretched ourselves a little bit, only because we know that this is an important opportunity for our students. It was kind of like a non-negotiable for us. So we asked Mr. Rose if it was okay for us to start a club, and he said, sure, go for it, green light. He always gives us the green light. Probably thinks we are a little nuts trying to conquer all of this, but we just feel like it's the best thing for our students. So we meet with our club kids once a week for an hour, where our students work together to discuss and celebrate their creative ideas. And we support our students in discovering, exploring, and eventually presenting their big idea in the form of a TED-style talk. They are given the opportunity to identify and research their ideas that matter most to them. It offers them a hands-on opportunity to work on storytelling, writing, researching, and communication skills that honestly will carry them through their whole life. The cool part is that these kids have been in school for over 4 hours a day. And that's a lot to be on Zoom for 4 hours a day, yet they are enthusiastic, they're excited, they show up for class on time, they participate. And so again, our rascals, the extra special. We love our La Rosa kids. So we would like to introduce some of our students from our current club. And I want to, Ms. Seltzer, I think you're going to introduce them. And I would like to just take a moment to thank Ms. Seltzer. She actually sort of...
In the corner, it says live on YouTube.
What was that? Oh. Ms. Seltzer, you have kind of given me a little push, and I appreciate that because I needed to be a little brave. So thank you so much for being my partner in crime here and giving me a little nudge. So Ms. Seltzer, would you like to introduce our kids and share a little bit?
Yes, it's funny that you just thanked me because I was going to thank you for taking me under your wing and letting me lead this club with you, because every time I join TED Ed, I feel inspired. When we transitioned to online learning in the spring, meeting with the TED Ed kids every week was one of the things that brought me the most joy. And now meeting with the kids weekly helps me stay connected with the students in a deep and personal way, because that's something I, as a counselor, am really missing in this virtual setting. I'm used to seeing kids every morning, welcoming them to school. And now I see them briefly on Fridays, and that's it. And so this is a really special time for me to connect with the students in a more personal way. Their passions are inspiring, and every week a little thought from an 8 or 9-year-old makes me think deeper about my own world. So thank you, Board of Education, for supporting us. Thank you, Mrs. Young, for introducing me to this world, and thank you to our students for inspiring me every week. And without further ado, I'd like for all of our students to wave. We have quite a few here. Some of them are on the second page of Zoom, so I hope you can see them all. We're so proud of them for showing up every week and also for being here. This is a scary thing for a 3rd grader to come face a lot of new adult faces on Zoom. And I'm just so proud of them for being here and for showing up and for sharing their passions with us every week. And one thing we planned for you is our very own special Kara Pavlon is here, and she wants to share TED Ed from her eyes. And so you're in for a treat. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Miss Kara.
TED, a little family where you can talk about your passions and there's no right or wrong. The TED Ed Club is so lucky to have such amazing TED teachers, Miss Young and Miss Seltzer. To me, TED Ed means passion. TED Ed is a place where you can share your thoughts no matter how old you are. TED Ed is a very fun place to be. At TED Ed, you can dig through your thoughts. Every time I go to TED Ed, we watch TED Talks. And sometimes the talker gets me thinking, if the speaker says the word I do not know, or they say something I do not understand, it gets me thinking, what does this word mean? What does this mean? In those TED Talks, they sound passionate when they speak. They say why they are passionate about it. I feel happy when I am at TED Ed, because at this weird time in this pandemic, you kind of want to see like friends and family. And at TED, I feel more connected to people. When you see someone you care about, you feel happy. In TED Ed, you can work on your writing skills, you can see your friends. In TED Ed, you can laugh, you can learn new things. And sometimes maybe you can convince your friends to join the club too. You can meet new people and you can make new friends. And one of the reasons I joined TED Ed is so I can dig through my thoughts and find what I'm passionate about.
Thank you so much, Kara. Round of applause. You are so brave and you did such a great job. And that is just the best example of what we get to experience every week at TED Ed.
I seriously have tears in my eyes. It's like, okay. Kara, I'm so proud of you. And boys and girls, all of you in TED Ed Club, thank you so much for all of you being so brave. And I look forward to our showcase here in a couple of months where you get to share your thoughts and your passions and what's meaningful for you. And we get to hear all of your voices. I'd like to also add that we have had this club for 3 years. We started 3 years ago in January, and I have been so grateful because from the very beginning, the board has been very supportive of us and our club, and anything that we've needed, they've said, go for it. Yes, we support you. So I want to thank you for your continued support. We deeply appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and I know it means so much to our families and our students. So thank you again for allowing this opportunity, not just to talk about TED Ed, but also to shine a light on La Rosa. And just one more thing that makes us really extra special, to know that even our littlest of littles in our school district, our third graders, have huge voices. And thank you for allowing us to share that. So thanks.
Now you know
Thank
why
you very
now
much.
you know why I get out of the way. That's why now I just get out of the way.
You're a smart man, Jason. Thank you, Ms. Young and Ms. Seltzer, very much for all the effort you put into this program. As I said, this is an amazing program, and I'm really proud to be in the district that offers it to our students. And I want to thank all of the students who participate in it. Thank you for being here tonight. You guys are all awesome. I cannot wait till you have your showcase. I will be watching. I haven't missed one yet, so thank you all for being here. Do any of the board members have anything they'd like to say?
Just want to say that I'm happy to say that seeing the, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Seeing the La Rosa TEDx club tonight is a highlight of my week. Congratulations to Mr. Rose for taking La Rosa to new heights by supporting outstanding teachers such as Mrs. Young and Ms. Seltzer, who provide nothing short but a world-class education to our La Rosa students, who I'm used to calling La Rosa Rascals, with great affection, of course. We know that well-connected students feel safe and loved, as Mrs. Young said earlier, and La Rosa, as well as all our TCUSD schools, do such a wonderful job connecting with students. I'm so proud of our La Rosa Rascals, who I know do a great job making our district shine for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is Melissa. I just wanted to say I'm super proud of all of you. It's a tough time to be virtual, and you guys are finding ways to stay connected and to just build on your, communication and your connectedness, and that will serve you well in your lifetime. So congratulations. Thank you so much for the work that you all do. And again, just super proud of all of you.
Thank you.
Fabulous as always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to hang around, you can. Our next presentation is going to be another fabulous one. So if you want to hang around for a few minutes, the rest of the meeting after that will probably be boring, though. We're gonna move on to our second presentation, and this is regarding the Giving Back program. And I'd like to welcome Reggie Cordero, who is our new instrumental music director at Temple City High School. It's so nice to have you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, but you have something special for us tonight.
Yes, I have a video that was produced by the Giving Back Club. They're a club that is dedicated to spreading music throughout the city of Temple City. And they perform at many different communities, such as the Methodist Hospital, and collaborating with other clubs on campus. And they decided to make some videos and share their love of music. And that's what I'll be presenting tonight.
Thank you.
And if I can get this to work, here we go. It was working right when the started. Okay.
Of course.
Is that working?
Yes.
Yeah. think we need the volume.
The sound, yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Try that again. Of course, I do this all day at school and it works every time. All right. Sorry about that. Of course, I can't get my controls to show up here. One second. Okay, I think I got it. Let's try that again. What's that?
No,
No sound?
no sound.
All right, I'm gonna try that one more time.
There you go.
Is that working now?
Yes.
Got it. Yep.
There you go.
Wow, that was great. Thank you. If you don't mind, while you're here, I understand that the band is doing a fundraiser. They're selling poinsettias.
Yes, we're selling
Can you
poinsettias.
tell everybody about that?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
We're currently selling poinsettias, the Pride of Temple City Band Boosters, and they're putting things out on social media. And I believe the high school shared that on their Instagram account for that information. I believe they're $10 a plant, and they'll be. We're setting up a delivery or pickup in the Temple City High School parking lot on. I don't have the date.
I think it's the 7th and 8th.
Real quick, I just wanted to point out something about that video and just share the thoughts that I shared with Mr. Lohman. These kids did this video on their own time outside of their class. They were not asked to do it, and they wanted to honor Veterans Day, and so they put this together. And so it just speaks volumes about the character of our kids. And I shared those thoughts with Mr. Lohman, and just thank you to the Giving Back Club for their work.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was wonderful. Anybody else want to make a comment?
Always been fabulous. I agree. Very nicely done.
So Reggie, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. As I said, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person and seeing the band and the orchestra perform in person. But we appreciate that you giving us that little glimpse of what the students are doing now.
Welcome. Thank you.
So thank you very much for being here. And to our La Rosa people, all the fun stuff is over with now. So if you want to go, this is a good time to leave.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Go. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we'll move on to item 11, which is public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. And tonight we have a treat because we actually have someone who is going to be speaking to us in person. Clarissa Hong is here to speak to us tonight. So Clarissa, you can go ahead and give your public comment.
Oh, I was just asked to speak about reasons why we should maybe look towards getting an all-weather track versus the traditional dirt track that we have right now. So currently I'm a senior at Temple City High School, and I've been running on varsity cross country and track for all my duration of high school. And the reasons why I believe we need a new track and we need a new all-weather track instead of just repaving the dirt one we have every year is that, of course, number one, all-weather means that we wouldn't have to deal with weather issues. So oftentimes in December, where it's our main training season for cross country, and this is our bulk mileage, this is when we put the most mileage in for track. A lot of that is cut kind of more difficult to do because when it rains, our dirt track turns to a mud track, and then we kind of sink in, and it's really hard to do speed workouts on there. And students would have to run on the streets while it's running. And as a trainer in a trainer's room, we do see an increase of injuries, especially when it comes to like shin splints or swollen knees due to the impact of maybe 10, 13 miles on cement, versus if we had an all-weather track, the impact will be absorbed and we wouldn't have to run on streets. And as I literally have like scars to show it, but a lot of reckless drivers are driving when it's raining and don't often look at runners. So it would also be safer for students to just not run in the rain on the streets. And if we had an all-weather track, they'd be able to stay within school campuses. And when it's not raining, it's often windy sometimes. And it kind of just brings up like wind storms. I mean, not like the wind will pick up the dirt particles and the sand blows in our eyes. So when we do speed intervals, I'm in a pack with maybe 15 other guys. And when we all set off to do it, a lot of dirt and other particles get in our eyes. And our runners with asthma do experience more breathing issues. And when we do speed interviews, I can speak from experience. I do lose a couple seconds per lap, since every single time I set my foot down, it slides because of the dirt. But if we had an all-weather track, my foot would stay planted and I'll be able to run using spikes, which brings me to my next point, that sprinters ruin their spikes because spikes are not meant for a dirt track, since the spikes aren't able to bite onto the ground as we would have as an all-weather track. And it also a little bit, speaking from experience, that it decreases athletes' morale, since a dirt track can often look tough and unappealing. As a person who trains relatively hard, looking at a dusty track on a really dry, hot day is a major turnoff for hard workouts. If I know I'm going to be working hard, but also have to understand I'm going to be breathing in a ton of dirt particles, or when it's 100 degrees, it's really difficult to run better. And if we can train better, we can definitely compete better. And in my 3 years of high school, our meets I only had one home meet, and it was a complete disaster since our track is not a perfect 400. So runners, usually when we run a race, you start and end at the same place, unless you're doing a distance with 50 meters at the end, where it's only half. But it was really, really hard to calculate a perfect mile. So a lot of the athletes there didn't PR, and it was kind of like a useless meet since we were running more than we needed to, yet our times weren't deducted. And since meets are never home, Temple City has to spend extra money. It's $500 per bus to travel for every single meet. And I feel like that money adds up. Like you spend thousands and thousands more per season just because we're not allowed to have home meets. And if we did have home meets, we can also bring in more revenue by using maybe our snack bar or other purchases, and our athletic trainers can get more practice in with runners. And lastly, runners are not the only one using this track. Other sports condition here every single day along with PE. When they run their mile or when they do like basic running, it's on this track. So it's not just the cross country runners and track runners who are impacted, it's all athletes and students in general. And it's also like during football games when the band is marching, it's just a lot more appealing to have an all-weather track for photos or just overall improve the look of our school. Since we're one of the only few schools in our area with a dirt track, the only school in our area with a dirt track is, I believe, it was either Amonte or Arroyo, I'm not too sure. But lastly, my last point is that it's really hard to create defined lanes when we compete. It's drawn with chalk, so events like the first two events, we can see the lanes, but as the meet goes on, the one time we did have a meet, by the end of the meet, it was really hard to see where the lanes were. And as a person who runs at one of the last events, it was really hard to stay in my lane. So yeah, that's kind of my take on reasons why we should maybe look forward to having an all-weather track.
Thank you, Clarissa, for your input. We appreciate it. We just recently started doing a facilities master plan process where we're going to prioritize our facility needs and then look at what monies we have available and what we can fund. And Dr. Fricker is in here. Can we get Clarissa on the list to be informed when we have meetings, public meetings, to get input so she can attend? And probably Nicole also, so Nicole can spread the word amongst the other students if they have input they'd like to give also.
I was thinking the same thing, that we can just have another volunteer on that meeting. So we will be in touch with Clarissa and then other students who wish to participate in that process. So Marianne Sorrell will be assigning the committees and we will be getting that going here shortly. So yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Clarissa, for attending. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Okay, I have one more public comment. This was sent via email, so I will read it. It says, hello, TCUSD board. Please publish some white paper on the efficacy of distance learning in terms of proficiency versus growth, and how TCUSD is measuring students' performance during these tough times. Also request the TCUSD board to eliminate asynchronous learning on Fridays when most neighboring school districts practice distance learning for all 5 days. Stay safe and be well. Thank you, Sri Varadarajan. Okay, Marie, do we have any more public comment? No. All right, we'll move on to item 12, which is the community update, and I will do that. Good evening again, everyone. I'd like to start off by congratulating Avery Sue, who is a 4th grader at Longdon Elementary School. Avery is the winner of the 2021 Camellia Festival theme contest, and the theme that she submitted is Everyday Heroes. I would also like to congratulate 2 of our former Everyday Heroes who have been selected as the Grand Marshals for the 2021 Camellia Festival, and that's Matt Byers and Bert Ferntile. And finally, I wanted to announce, finally, regards to the Camellia Festival, I wanted to announce that this year's festival is going to look very different. There is not going to be a carnival. There is not going to be the traditional parade. It'll most likely be a car parade that'll go through the city. Not all final decisions have been made because we are always waiting to see the changing guidelines from the county. But one thing that is going to happen is we are going to have a royal court. So if any of you know of any 1st graders, please have their parents mark their calendars for December 7th. That's when applications will be available for the Royal Court. I wanted to announce that the Temple City High School Performing Arts Boosters are having a dine out at Blaze Pizza that's up by the Vaughn Shopping Center tomorrow night. There is a flyer or an announcement on their Facebook page, so you can have it on your phone when you go up there and let them know it's for Temple City High School Performing Arts Boosters. And my last item is, I might sound like a broken record, but I am not. This is new news. Our Science Olympiad team at Temple City High School has once again competed in a national contest and placed 16th nationally. And this is really an amazing thing. I've been researching it a little bit. They actually compete in 23 different competitions. So they don't have to just be good at one thing. They have to be good at 23 different things. And they were so good at 3 of them that they are actually receiving medals. They medaled in geologic mapping, forensics, and dynamic planning. And I'd like to make an appeal for them again. As you know, this is a club and it's very difficult for them to raise funds, and they've been paying for all their own supplies and for their entry fees. And this is really their year to shine. So if anybody is interested, you can write a check to TCUSD and put Science Olympiad down at the bottom in the memo line and send it over to the high school. And this will allow our students to participate in even more competitions this year.
Donna?
And that is all I have for community announcements. We'll move on to district announcements. Yes.
I was going to say, they came in 16th out of 203 high schools in the US. So that was pretty impressive.
That was the first one. The second one that they just did was, I believe, 116 high schools. I was through the University of Texas. They came in 16th in both competitions, so they're very consistent. This wasn't a fluke. They're really good. Okay, district updates. We'll start with business services. Marianne Sorrell.
Good evening. The district would like to thank the Jeannie Ward Foundation for the generous gift of $2,000 to the Temple City High School Visual Arts Department. Also, we would like to thank Mr. Brett and Mrs. Michelle Naylor for their generous gift of $200 to the Oak Avenue Band. And also Mrs. Tina Den for her generous donation of school supplies for the ELP and McKinney-Vento students. Tomorrow at the Temple City High School campus, site and district staff will be planting 30 fruit trees in an orchard at the high school. The primary location is on Temple City Boulevard, next to the 4 and 500 wing. This is a grant the district received from the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. And the M&O staff have prepared all of the soil in preparation for this planting, as well as installing irrigation that's appropriate to support fruit trees. So we'll be starting that about 10 o'clock tomorrow. A brief update on La Rosa. We had talked about changing the way the blinds were installed in each classroom, and that has been completed. Also, there was an abandoned ventilation system that had some grates and some back workrooms that were open. Those have all been sealed with a combination of steel and concrete. That has been completed. All of the materials have been removed and tagged and marked for pickup from Ben and Madeline. And Ben and Madeline are scheduling air testing, but we're waiting to get a date for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is educational services, and I don't see Hannah Getty here. Dr. Fricker, are you going to give that report?
I will give the next 2 reports. So from educational services, work is currently underway regarding the curriculum adoption for our English language art program at the high school. Teachers have been piloting curriculum throughout the fall semester, and those pilot groups will be concluding shortly after the first of the year. So the teams will be coming together, and then they would be making their selection process as to which curriculum they would like to see implemented across the district at the high school level. And so we're hoping to see that conclusion and then recommend to the board anytime shortly after February or March of the year. So we're looking forward to that. With regard to special ed, they are focusing on the disproportionality reports, and that's just determining the percentage of students in different categories of special education across our district. And the disproportionality indicates where we have disproportionate levels of students, indicating that there could be a problem, may not be a problem, but it's just something for the district to look into and making sure that we are classifying students correctly. So they're looking at that. They've been working on that all fall. And that is concluding here as we go into the new year. And then in addition, they are working on the inclusion plan and the inclusion planning for our staff and our programs across the district as we go into the spring season where we begin planning towards next year. So I know that we are going to be working with the union and membership, forming a committee to work with staff and make sure that they have active involvement in the inclusion plan prior to us implementing anything for the following school year. There will be an analysis of what is working well, what is not, and what we would need to critique or tailor according to that committee, which will form, and then the outcome will then be what we actually implement the following school year. But there will be a presentation in the spring of the year to discuss the inclusion plan with the district and the Board of Education. Finally, with student services, is focused on a re-engagement plan. They're all also looking at students and the success rates that they are having within the distance learning model and structures that we currently have in place. We want to look at student interventions a little bit more closely this year and move to actually have targeted student interventions for those students who are struggling a bit due to the nature of distance learning. So they are pulling and looking at different cohorts of students where we may want to provide intervention for those students, either in small cohorts off campus or on campus in the future. But again, we'll be working with our union leaders to determine how and when we provide those interventions for our students. So that ends the Ed Services report. And then if I can jump into the personnel report. Okay, so personnel, we are working with the Personnel Commission to finalize all aspects of the classified personnel study that was conducted all of last year and did conclude the summer of this prior year. There were some appeals that we need to address in terms of making sure everyone has the correct job classification, role, and responsibility. So we are going through the appeal process. We are working both with union leadership. So thank you to Robin and Art on that side, and then also the Personnel Commission and the members of the Personnel Commission Board who we are currently working with. Juris is taking an active role. She is the current coordinator of personnel, and she's taking an active role in making sure that we address the appeals from staff in a timely manner and that they work through the proper channels. Just something to consider whenever we have appeals of a classification or a title of a role, which also requires a salary adjustment to that role. We need to make those things at the same time, both of those changes in tandem with one another. The Personnel Commission bylaws do state that if you have a title change, which requires a salary change, if you make the salary change later on, you can't retroactive it back to the time of the title change. So that's why those two things are handled in tandem typically, and we then go through the correct process for approval with the union, the Personnel Commission, the board, and then in cases with salary change, the LACO administration. So we are concluding that, and we hope to have that concluded by the end of this year. So we go into 2021, which is not that far off, with a fresh start. We are also finalizing credentialing with our certificated staff and making sure that our CalPADS reporting is correct and up to date. And then we are also looking at the COVID leaves and employee leaves at this time. Some of the COVID leaves will be ending or are slated to end on December 31st of this year. So we want to make sure that we have the correct communication to the union leadership and also to the staff who may or may not be affected by that category of leave, so that we have accurate communication and planning prior to going into the start of the next year. So that wraps it up for personnel, other than parent-teacher conferences are coming in the first weeks of December. So I just want to thank all the staff for all their hard work and preparation that they are going through right now to prepare for those parent-teacher conferences. And I know that they will be a success, and we just thank you for your effort. So thank you.
Thank you. Item 14 is bargaining unit comments, and we'll start off with TCEA. Kyla, would you like to speak?
No, I don't
Thought
have
I saw
anything
her.
tonight, but thank you.
All right, thank you. CSEA 105, Robin,
Nothing for me tonight.
thank you. And CSEA 823, Art.
Good evening. I just want to say a couple things. One is looking forward to getting back to negotiations with the district. Our proposal is up for approval tonight to the board. So once that happens, then we can get to the table and start working on our proposals. And the other thing is, I want to congratulate the board members for the election. I'm really looking forward to working with you in the future if I'm elected again as president for next year. It's been a pretty rough year for all of us with this COVID situation, and I think as a district on both ends, we've handled it as best as we possibly could. And we don't know what we're looking like in the future, so we're going to continue the fight and make sure our people here in our district are safe and our campuses are secure. I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is item 15, board member comments. And tonight, Member Smith, it's your turn to go first.
Okay, am I muted? No, good. Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to the La Rosa TED Ed team for their presentation tonight. They always do a great job, and it's really fun to see those kids get up there and speak. I to this day have a little bit of fear myself when I stand up in front of a large crowd, and I'm not that comfortable. So I wish I had had something like that when I was their age. Also, a shout out to the Giving Bach presentation. It's really exciting to see them even more in person, and unfortunately we can't do that this time because of the pandemic, but they always do a great presentation. Shout out also to the site leaders and the newsletters from each of the school sites. I appreciate that very much. I read them each week and look at the details about PTA reflections and membership drive and those kinds of things. The end of the trimesters, I guess Friday, and the parent teacher conferences start a week from now, and good information. Please keep that stuff coming. I want to give a special shout out to Longden. They include information from their counselors in their newsletter each week, talking about what they're going to do on Friday to help with the social and emotional well-being of the kids and the journey of life. So that's good to see. I think during this time where everybody is remote, we're probably losing some things, some connectivity that may not even show up until later on, but it's nice to see that people are focusing and building on that. And to that end, on November 3rd, the Kiwanis Club of Temple City had a special presentation from a lady named Lisa Ziv, last name is Z-I-V, to talk about inspiring families to navigate mental health in uncertain times. And she has a presentation that's on Jerry Jambazian's website, templecity.photos.com. It's not only the presentation of the slides that she provided in PowerPoint, but as well, you can also watch a video of the presentation. She covered subjects on the impact of COVID-19 on youth, 5 helpful tips for supporting mental health, managing anxiety and depression, 15 ideas to keep in mind during the pandemic, and et cetera. I'm not going to go through them all, but it was a very nice presentation, very well done. And then with regard to the COVID situation, I attended a Los Angeles County Office of Education Town Hall event on November 9th, and that's also available for viewing. It was supposed to be a 1-hour meeting. It wound up being a 2-hour meeting, and I didn't, shame on me, I guess. I didn't catch in the notification that I got that this was a town hall that was open to anybody in LA County, basically. So they went through a lot of questions and answers and addressed a lot of issues. And again, that's available online for people to look at. And maybe we can include the URLs for both this and the Lisa Ziv presentation so that people can go to our website and find that information. And then lastly, like Don, I had a chance to attend the kickoff for the 77th Temple City Camellia Festival this past Saturday, Everyday Heroes. And she talked about Avery Sue, who came up with that. And as she mentioned, the parade this year is going to be something, I think, along the lines of what we saw at the end of the school year for the band of students and graduates going around the town. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Member Espinosa.
Good evening, everybody. I'll be brief. I wanted to thank those who made donations this period. I think they're definitely greatly appreciated, and just want to make sure I recognize those who have donated this for this reporting period. In terms of attendance, I attended and participated in the TC for Change meeting, and I'm excited that we're working on something that will be at some point presented to students on the topic of anti-racism and sharing stories of past situations and how we must do better. So I'm excited that we will be there right now. TC for Change is partnering with us to get these testimonials on video, and then we'll work together to look at the videos and compile things and make something that we can present to our students. So excited about that. I also attended the Camellia Festival kickoff and thought it was great. I mean, trying to do something like this remotely is a difficult thing, but there was a lot of excitement to be connected, even if it was virtually. So that was great. And our, Jerry Jambazian comes through again with a video that just kind of encompassed the rich tradition of the Camellia Festival. And I enjoyed watching that during the kickoff. So thank you, Jerry. And then I attended the routine meetings that I attend every month, which is grad night and TC Council PTA. And so they're getting ready for, they're working towards, different fundraisers that we can do remotely, hoping people can make it to tomorrow's fundraiser that has to do with performing arts. Just continuing to work with them. There's a meeting tomorrow for the PTA Council. And then finally, I just want to wish our school community and their families a very safe and restful Thanksgiving. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Member Nolenberg.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody from the superintendent on down, on teachers and the students who have adapted to the new way of learning. And also like to thank everybody for the different vacations we had. Thanksgiving is coming up next week, but we had in the last time we met, we had Veterans Day and a Jewish holiday, both. And I'd like to thank all the people who participated in that. I'd like to thank the La Rosa people for giving us the elementary presentation on Ted and their little group, and also on the Bach video. It was very entertaining and very interesting. I'd like to thank all the people who dedicated their lives and probably their health to making Temple City Unified School District look good over the next couple of years. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is my turn. Since our last meeting, I have attended a couple of dine outs, the Chick-fil-A for Ramrodders and the Chipotle for Temple City High School PTSA. And I want to thank those groups for giving me an excuse not to cook. And I will be at Blaze tomorrow night also. I attended the Camellia Festival kickoff, and as I mentioned before, it is going to look different this year, but it's still going to be a very nice community event. So hopefully we can include information in our district newsletter to keep everybody apprised as what the changes are and what will be going on this for 2021. I viewed the Fall Festival, which was held I think it was the day before Halloween and Halloween Day, and it was really great. I have to say, being able to see our students perform, it actually brought tears to my eyes, and I very much enjoyed it. They had drama, brighter sides, the band performed, let's see, auxiliaries, pep. I don't know if I'm missing anybody, but it was really great. And so congratulations to them. They were accepting donations, and I'm sure if it's still online, if you'd like to watch it and you'd like to make a donation to them. I also last night observed the Kiwanis Club. I thought you were going to bring this up, Matt. The Kiwanis Club Student of the Month program. You forgot. And that was wonderful. I want to thank Kiwanis Club for doing that. Again, they've had to make alterations because of the pandemic, but they honored 2 students from each of our schools. And Jerry Jambazian was the host, and he talked to each of the students, and it never ceases to amaze me what awesome students we have in this district, from the little ones up through the high school age students. So that was great. I'm looking forward to, I imagine Kiwanis is going to be doing it every month, and I'm looking forward to watching it again next month. This past week, I have volunteered with the lunch distribution programs at Emperor and Longden. And I want to compliment Marisol Cortez, who's in charge of the food services. Really well organized, nice programs. All the staff were great. They're 2 well-oiled machines. It was really nice. The lunches were good lunches, and people were so appreciative. So I'm thankful that I got to go out there with them. I'm going to go to Temple City High School on Friday and see how their program works. But I want to compliment everybody for what a great job they're doing. And one of the things I wanted to mention was that looking forward to the time when we actually get to go back on campus, one of the things that was really comforting was to see how careful the staff are and how they follow all the protocols, safety protocols. So I'm feeling very optimistic that when we do go back to school, we'll be able to do it very safely, and that our staff will be great leaders for all the students coming back. And finally, I just wanted to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to seeing you again in December. And last but not least is Dr. Lynn.
Okay, I guess I'm not muted, right? Thank you, President Georgino. Good evening, everyone. I would like to start off by congratulating Matt, Melissa, and Mary on being re-elected and elected to serve as trustees on the school board. I want to give kudos to Ken for his campaign and many years of service on the TCUSD board. I look forward to welcoming Mary Saxon in December when she is sworn in, and we have a new governor. Question?
Mary Sneed.
Oh,
Mary Sneed.
Thank you for catching that. Just checking if you're paying attention.
We should tell her.
Yeah, right. Congratulating the wrong person, but yeah, Mary Sneed, congratulations. And I would say that our TCUSD transition of power has always been peaceful and cordial. And with that said, I hope you all had a good Veterans Day last week. We appreciate the veterans whose sacrifices allow us to enjoy this democracy. And thank you, Reggie Cordero, earlier at the high school for sharing the giving back student strings performance of the national anthem, giving tribute to our veterans. Also, as was mentioned earlier by Donna, congratulations to the high school ATX Science Olympiad team. Oh my God. I know that the team's current national success did not happen without any effort and many years of hard work. This group got started in elementary by dedicated parents. So for the students of Science Olympiad, basking in your success, if you are listening to this, take a moment to thank your parents and coaches who have invested so many years in your success, because your success is their success. I also want to recognize our site principals and Dr. Fricker for your weekly newsletters and messages. These communications are not just for members of the board to be connected, but more importantly for our families and students to be connected. Before I hand it back to Donna, I wish everyone very happy and safe Thanksgiving. For me, I'm thankful for the privilege and honor of serving as a fellow trustee on a well-grounded, well-functioning governance team. I'm grateful for the superintendent, Dr. Fricker, and her superstar administrative team, both at the district and site levels. I'm very thankful for the teachers and support staff in your resiliency and dedication to our families and students. Make sure you take some well-deserved time off this Thanksgiving. Peel yourself away from the screen, and this also means Netflix. Enjoy the time to rest and recharge. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16 is student board member comments. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you. So I had Clarissa come in today and talk about the track. And I think it's just really, or something really good to consider, because like something I really care about is obviously our students' health. And sometimes our track has really affected some of our students in some way. And I think it's something we should really prioritize in the future or soon, because since no one's using the track currently because we're all doing distance learning, it might be a good time to take action on that. And that's all I have today. I also wanted to hear if any of you guys had any opinions on that.
Actually, Nicole, we can't discuss these kind of items unless they're agendized. But I hope you'll get involved in the facilities master plan process, because that's really what's going to be the guiding document to making these kinds of things happen, okay? And thank you for having Clarissa come, and please feel free, if you have any other students that would like to speak to us, have them come also, okay? All right, next is our superintendent's comments.
Thank you. I do want to just take a moment and wish everybody an upcoming very, very happy Thanksgiving break. I know that this year, more than any other year, Thanksgiving is really a thankful time because we have had a summer filled of work and readiness. And then we also have had a fall semester that has been filled with all of the implementation of that preparation and the continued work that has had to have happened on a very different platform and learning system. The amount of gratitude that I have for the Board of Education, for your faith and support in all of us throughout this whole process is tremendous, and I truly, truly appreciate it. The toll that is taken on many of the district staff, administration, site administration, union leadership, and key staff members who have been a part of those committees to make it all happen really went above and beyond. And it really has been more than what then people understand or know. And everything has been done in such great faith and such good effort, and so many well intentions behind everything that was put in place. And I always say, you know, to people when they ask me, and I also say to the board members, like, you can't pay people to do that. You can't expect people to do that. And so many people have risen to that challenge, and so many people have exceeded expectations, and so many people have gone just above and beyond. And I am truly humbled. I am truly grateful, and I am truly honored to work amongst such fine individuals. I could not be more proud. I know the Board of Education is not. They echo me in that sentence, and they are extremely proud of all of you too. I do want you to have a very safe, a very warm, a very welcoming, a very fun-loving Thanksgiving break to be with your family, friends, and loved ones. And I think it is well-deserved for all of TCUSD. And that includes the Board of Education. It includes all of us as administrators. It includes every single teacher, every staff member, every leader in the district, and all of our students and all of our staff and our parents in our community. So thank you so much. I wish you a warm and happy and safe Thanksgiving break.
Okay, same to you. Item 18 is written communications. I received one letter. It was a letter of resignation from Monica Makovitz. And that is all I received. Did anybody else receive anything? Okay, if not, we'll move on to our discussion action agenda. And we'll start with item 19, which is to receive board policies for second reading and approval. And we have Board Bylaw 9005, Governance Standards. Board Policy 4121, Temporary Substitute Personnel. Board Policy 4127, 4227, 4327, Temporary Athletic Team Coaches. Board Policy 4128, Shared Teaching Assignments, that's to be deleted. Board Policy 4131, that's staff development. Board Policy 4131.5, professional growth, that's to be deleted. Board Policy 4131.6, 4231.6, and 4331.6, professional development program. All three of those are to be deleted. And finally, Board Policy 4132, 4232, 4332, publication or creation of materials. So would someone like to make a motion to approve those for second reading?
I'll motion.
Motion by Member Espinosa,
Second.
second by Member Lynn. Okay, are there any questions or comments? All right, we'll take a roll call vote. I'm sorry.
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Did Mr. Smith make a change to one of these? And was it incorporated?
I can answer.
Okay, go right ahead.
So yes, Mr. Smith did request in the governance standard that the language that we had in the prior policy, he just questioned why it was removed in the updated policy. We did call CSBA and they did indicate that it was completely fine to leave in. They were just trying to shorten the policy in length, but we did leave it in as previously stated. So the language would be the same as our policy had always been.
And the other question I had is one of these had different options, and I've just wanted to ask for clarification that the ones highlighted in yellow were the options we were selecting. The ones that weren't highlighted, we were not selecting.
The ones that were in yellow were the ones that were indeed selected as the option, so that the indicated highlight is the option that was selected to be included. And then when we submit them back to CSBA, they will select our inclusion and they will negate the rest. So they will drop off the policy.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with our student board members preferential vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes. Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
And Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 20 is receive and file 2019-2020 annual audit report. And are we going to have explanation of this?
Scott Gustafson, from a partner from Eide Bailey, will be presenting both the district audit as well as the Measure S audit. Scott?
Hi, good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, good evening.
I'll keep it brief, but I'm open to questions or anything you'd like to go over in more detail. And in relation to Temple City's audit for the financial statements for the district for the end of the year, I'll kind of run you through just the summary of that. We take a look at the financial statements at year end, as well as your federal awards and state compliance over certain areas issued by the state of California. In relation to the financial statements, we had an unmodified opinion. We did have one finding that was a carryover from the prior year, and it was related to an adjustment that was made regarding a receivable that was booked. So it was an error, but we identified it. So there's a finding in the report related to that, but it didn't have any effect on our opinions over the financial statements, so everything was good there. In relation to the single audit or for the federal awards that are received, the program that was looked at this year was the special education cluster. So all of the federal awards that the district receives for special education were reviewed. And that report again was unmodified. We had no findings of non-compliance, no issues to note, no control weaknesses to identify there. And then again, lastly, as it relates to the state compliance, we had an unmodified opinion as well over all of the different areas that are in the state audit guide, some of which would be things like school comprehensive safety plans, attendance, and different areas like instructional minutes, ADA, different things like that. So as it relates to all of those programs that were required to be looked at and audited, we did not have any non-compliance or any issues to report with those as well. So I will leave it very briefly at that because I know we probably have a lot to get to, but I'm happy to discuss anything.
Yeah, I did have a question, but do we have to have a motion or something first?
You're muted, Donna.
Sorry. Yeah, let's do a motion and a second first, and then you can ask your questions. Does someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by member Nolenberg.
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Smith. All right. Questions and comments?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask for some clarity around the finding that around the controls over the financial closing process. That was what I read in my documentation. I just want to understand what does that mean?
So what that means in an audit, so I'll give you the kind of the audit sense of what it means, but then also the reality of what occurred. So in the audit sense, what it means is really any time we identify what we call a material misstatement, so a large enough misstatement to the financial statements that we are going to recommend that the management post an adjusting entry. Anytime that happens, really the audit standards suggest that we should have some sort of finding. In other words, to say, look, there was some breakdown of a control in place that didn't catch this error before it got to us. And that's really all that's saying is there was a lapse in, some type of a control to double check, triple check that allowed it to get to the auditors that we discovered this error. In reality, what occurred, it was really much more simple than that. The entry was just posted backwards on accident. So of course you wouldn't like that to happen, but the number that the district identified was really the correct number. It was just to the wrong side of it was on the left side instead of the right side, unfortunately. So it really was that simple, but the audit standards kind of more or less dictate that you should have some type of a deficiency related to that.
And does that require some evidence of like how we remedy it so that it does not happen in the future?
All it does is require a response. So there is in the finding on page, I can give you a little more specific, on page 100 and 101, specifically 101, it does require what we refer to as a views of responsible officials and a corrective action plan. So what will happen is the district had to tell us, here's our plan for how we're going to correct that. If it continues to occur, we do have to identify whether it's a repeat issue or not. But yes, those items do take place.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have some questions as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, go right ahead.
So the key to You know, looking at these things is just start at the back and move forward.
It seems that way.
On page 106, where you start talking about, I like the way you worded it, opportunities for strengthening internal controls. The first two are ASB and Temple City High School cash receipting. And in both of those, you provide observations and recommendations, but no current status, and all the remaining have a current status. Is there a reason the current status was omitted, or?
No, so the reason for that, it's hard to catch on, is on page 107 at the very top. The rest of those comments were prior year comments. And so, yeah, the prior year comments would have a current status. The current year comments, because we haven't followed up on them per se, because they're sort of as of the end of the year, that we don't have any current status on those. So that would be the reason.
Okay, then on the last page 109, the current status up at the top for the Temple City High School disbursements, it just says not implemented, see current year comment for observation and recommendations. And I looked for that and I couldn't find it.
It would be that very first one on page 106. So that would be the Temple City High School disbursements comment. And so that would be the update to that.
I see ASB and I see the cash receipting.
The ASB is the generic ASB. Okay. Yeah, more specifically, and maybe we should bold these, make them a little easier to see. That's just the formatting we use. But yeah, that first comment relates to the disbursements. Now, the comment may not be an exact duplicate of the prior year because there may be different evidence, or in our follow-up, we may have identified maybe some changes to it, but that's should be what you see in general.
Okay. And the other comment I want to make, I've been at this for a few years, and in fact, last meeting we had an item on our agenda to approve for hiring FICMAT to do some training on cash receipting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that is an item that continues. It's been coming up for years. I've been on the board for quite a while with a little gap in between, but that's why I was pleased to see the FICMAT training. But I'm just afraid that it's going to show up again next year, again the next year after that. And I've made these comments before. So I really think there's something we need to do differently to get people to make sure that they're doing this correctly every year. I don't know if it means posting these up and on the walls and all the offices at all the school sites or what, but I really think we need to do, somehow the district needs to do a better job of hammering the importance of these things going forward. It hasn't worked yet, really.
Yeah, and to that point, if I can comment, what I would suggest, at least from the success stories, so first I would say this, these are not uncommon. These are very, very common, and to be quite honest, to only have a couple is really a testament to a great job from what we see comparative to others. Now, that being said, you can always do better. And with that being the case, some of the most successful districts that I've worked with have been able to centralize to some degree, at least the review process or something over those accounts at the district level. The downside to that is that takes resources, and not everybody, especially right now, has the ability to kind of provide those resources to the sites and that level of review that takes place. But that, in my opinion, overall tends to be the most successful that we see.
You know, because they're really very simple things that just don't get done.
Yeah.
And that's what kills me, you know.
Yeah, it's life at a high school, I think, to some degree.
That's it.
Are there other questions or comments?
Comment. Could the risk director oversee some of the problems with our accounting?
Do you want me to comment, Donna?
Sure.
So I can talk to the business department to see if that's something that risk management can just do a double take on, or to what extent do we want to limit that that liability with the risk management. We do have that as a resource, and I'm not quite sure if that is a appropriate placement for that, but we can definitely look into that.
Thank you. Okay, I have a question. Since this is a repeat finding, was there something we should have done this past year so that it didn't happen again?
I mean, it's hard to say because the district did bring in an outside consultant, I believe, this year to help with that calculation. So that's why the calculation really was accurate. The best I could suggest without knowing, every in and out of the controls that are in place is just a double check, triple check. I personally, if it were me in the management's position, I think sometimes you do have to chalk things up to human error. That's just an element of risk that is going to exist at times in an organization. And I think this is one of those. Unfortunately, from an audit perspective standard, I think really it warrants the comment.
Okay, so basically it was just a coincidence. There were 2 errors 2 years in a row.
There was. So 2 years ago, the error was more related to a miscalculation. This year, the error was, it was not miscalculated. It really was very accurate. It was just posted incorrectly. And so we have talked to management. One of the things that we have offered to management as an audit firm is we're more than happy to review those calculations prior to closing of the books to get maybe an additional buy-off from the auditors prior to us, finalizing or even coming out for the audit, just as an added measure of checking that. But I wouldn't expect this to be something that you would consider, systemic or anything to be concerned about in that regard.
Okay, great. All right, any final questions or comments?
Yeah, one other question I have, Scott, is that the report doesn't really measure the effectiveness of the district's internal control mechanisms. What would be a good way to measure the effectiveness of the internal control mechanisms?
That's a big question. So, outside of spending an obscene amount of money to really do something like that, I think organizations like FCMAT, like School Services California, groups like those can definitely do that. Now, that is something that can be done from an audit perspective in a different fashion, through an internal audit and pieces like that. But again, I don't know that, and I'm not saying our firm wouldn't love to do work like that, but I don't know that that's a cost-effective measure, and I don't know that that's the best use of district resources, to be quite honest. So I would consider that. I would consider looking at it from, county office should be able to help with some reviews and things like that. Looking at best practices from other entities, obviously we can help in the audit. And one thing that does happen, just to be clear, is we do offer kind of a generic opinion on internal controls as part of the financial statement audit. We do look at internal controls. Now, we don't do a deep dive. We look at them from the financial statement perspective of the overall revenues, receipting, disbursement, payroll processes, and things like that. Even though you may not see findings in the report per se that warrant, a higher level consideration, anything we identify throughout any of those audit processes does get brought to management as a suggestion to them. Hey, we noticed that maybe this could be reconciled on a weekly basis instead of a monthly basis. So I would suggest that management's constantly improving internal controls just through the generic audit process. That isn't necessarily represented in this report because it doesn't rise to the level of significance to be documented in an audit report as a finding or a comment.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll take a vote. Our student board member, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Sorry, yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
And Member Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0 to receive and file the 2019-2020 annual audit report. Item 21 is to receive and file the 2019-2020 annual audit report for Measure S. Would someone like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Member Smith,
I'll second.
second by Member Nolenberg. Are there any questions or comments about this one? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So 5-0, will receive and file the 2019-2020 annual audit report for Measure S. And thank you, Mr. Gustafson, for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Item 22 is to approve budget adjustments to 2020-2021 fiscal year budget. And do we have a report on that?
Yes, so there are adjustments to Fund 1. It's $15,500 being moved from the major object code 4000 to the major object code 5000, and that's based on a site level request to reallocate their budget. There's no increase in budget, just a reallocation. The second one is Fund 21.1, which is the bond fund, and this is related to the amount approved by the board for the shade structure. Those projects were done and approved after the conclusion of the budget, so it's to get the budget in line with the project that's been approved. And the final one is Fund 1 restricted. It's related to recording the COVID money that we received from both the federal government and the state. From the federal government, it's an increase in the federal revenue of $3.45 million and state revenue of $450,000.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Smith.
Works for me.
Okay, are there any questions or comments about this? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 23 is to adopt resolution 2021-10 for temporary interfund transfers. And Mary Ann, do you want to tell us about this one also?
Absolutely. This is an annual resolution that comes before the board. The primary situation for our district is, as you will recall, 3% of the total operating budget is set aside for deferred maintenance. And so this would be an instance where we would transfer the actual cash from Fund 1 into the deferred maintenance fund. That would be an example of when we would do this.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Approve.
Second.
Motion by member Lynn,
I'll second it.
second by member Nolenberg. Okay, are there questions or comments?
Just to confirm, I mean, it sounded like this was, I get that it's annual. I just want to, and I'm assuming that anything that is transferred under this resolution would be reported to the board, correct?
Absolutely. So the first step with LACO is having the resolution approved by the board. The second step would be bringing that transfer back to you when it would happen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? All right, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 24A is to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the acceptance of CSEA 105 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district.
I'll vote.
Someone like to make
I'll motion.
I'll second.
motion by member Espinosa,
I'll second.
second by member Nolenberg. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, the 5-0 vote. The public hearing is open at 8:29 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Okay, hearing none, We'll move on to item 24B. It's to approve the closing of the public hearing to discuss the approval of the acceptance of CSEA 105, 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district.
I'll motion. I'll motion.
I'll second.
Motion by member Espinosa. Second.
I'll second.
Second by member Nolenberg. We'll do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
See, I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
And member Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed at 8:30 p.m. Item 24C is to accept CSEA 105, 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district.
Move to accept.
Someone like to make a motion?
Make the
Is
motion.
that you, member
Matt.
Smith? Did you?
Yeah, I moved to.
Okay, and
Second.
okay, and second, member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? All right, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0. Item 25A is to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 105.
I'll motion.
Wait.
Oh,
We just did 105. Shouldn't this be 823?
Sorry, yes, it should be 8:23.
Okay. Is this going to be a problem that we have the wrong?
We probably should re-agendize the 25A, 25B and C are say 105,
I
but
don't think it will because the attachment's correct. Because the actual attachment is the one for 823.
Okay. Item 26 is 823.
So I think
So do we
there's,
just have,
I think there's just a duplicate from B.
that's what I'm thinking too.
I think it just duplicated itself, but if you go down the agenda, 823 is there.
Yeah.
yeah. I see
Okay,
that.
so 25A, B, and C are a duplicate
Yeah.
of 24. So we'll just skip
Table.
over those. And we'll move on to item 26A.
Yep.
So this is the approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the
No.
acceptance of
Donna, 25 was the district statement.
Districts. Oh, that's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that
I'm like,
that explains. All right, never mind. Okay, I'm glad you
Oh.
clarified that. Sorry
Thank
about
you for-
that. I know, I was gonna say that, I can't believe that happened. So, all right, that makes sense. All right, back to 25A. We're approving the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 105. All right.
I'll motion.
Someone like to, motion by member Espinosa,
I'll second.
second by member Nolenberg. We'll do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing, that was 5-0. It's opened at 8:34 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? All right, item 25B is to approve the closing of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 105. Someone like to make a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Espinosa. We'll do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0. The public hearing is closed at 8:35 p.m. All right, item 25C is approve the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 105. Someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Smith,
Second.
second by member Nolenberg. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
And the motion is approved 5-0. Item 26A is approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the acceptance of CSEA 823 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district. Motion,
I'll make
please.
the motion.
Motion by member Nolenberg. Second.
I'll second.
Second by member Smith. Do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So the public hearing is open at 8:37 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Okay, 26B is to approve the closing of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the acceptance of CSEA 823 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district. Motion, please.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Motion by member Espinosa. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by member Nolenberg. Okay, roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed at 8:38 p.m. 26C is accept CSEA 823 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with the district.
Move to accept.
Motion, please. Motion by member Smith.
I'll second.
Second. Second by member Espinosa. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Nicole?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Okay, the motion is approved 5-0. Item 27A is to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss the approval of the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 823. Motion, please.
Move to open.
Motion by
second.
member Smith, second by member Espinosa.
I don't get
Okay, roll call vote. Nicole?
green or yellow.
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
And member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is open at 8:39 p.m. 27B is to approve the closing of the public hearing to discuss the approval of the Oh, well, I forgot to ask, is there anyone who wanted to speak to this? The public? Okay. All right, 27B is to approve the closing of the public hearing to discuss the approval of the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 823. Motion, please.
Move to close.
Motion by member Smith, second.
And I'll second.
Second by member Nolenberg. Okay, roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
The public hearing is closed at 8:41 p.m. 27C is to approve the district's 2020-2021 interest statements for negotiations with CSEA 823. Someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion by member Smith,
Second.
second by member Nolenberg. Are there any questions or comments on this? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So the motion is approved 5-0. Whew, that was a lot of work. Okay. Item 28 is to approve the superintendent's contract addendum. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Smith. Second.
Second.
Second by member Nolenberg. I just wanted to mention for the public, this addendum is to do two things. It's to specify the number of work days that the superintendent will work in a year. And it's also increasing by 10 hours the number of vacation hours she can accumulate in a year without having to cash them out. And this we're doing because of the pandemic. It's been difficult for our employees to take off time to work. So we're giving her 10 extra hours to hold
10 extra
hold in the
days.
bank.
10 extra days.
10 extra days, I'm sorry. 10 extra days to hold in the bank. So that's what this addendum is all about. Are there any questions or comments?
I'll just add that the 224 days is, it's really a clarification of what we had already thought was included.
Right, it wasn't specified in her contract, but that is a typical work year for district employees. Anything else? Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote on that. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes, and member Nolenberg?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Something's going on with my computer. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. Consent calendar, the routine items approved by one motion and one vote unless a member of the board or audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted on separately. Would someone like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by member Smith. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by member Espinosa. Are there any questions or comments?
I do have a question about item 30.
So do I.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. Item 8, number 18 on the contracts. It's like a spreadsheet that said contracts. It was item 18. We had 2 entries for the train company, TRANE company, and they were, 200. One was 254,190, and the other one was for 37,074.03. I just wanted to know what that was. It's for the high school, I know, but I don't know what that is for.
Absolutely. So these are contracts that were brought to board at the last meeting and approved, and they're related to the work done on the chiller. It was about $250,000 of replacement of the chiller at the high school.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
I have
Yes.
a question on the page prior to that that just says board meeting contracts, November 18. The second item down talks to the repair of the solar canopy at the high school. And I'm just wondering, can we not submit that to JPA for reimbursement? Or is that the plan?
So I've been fighting really, really hard on that. I am happy to say we had 2 bids on this repair, and the first one was staggering at over $250,000 for the repair. So this second one was much more palatable, and this will be submitted to insurance.
Okay, great.
I have a question.
Yes, go right ahead.
Marianne, can you talk about the phone allowances for some of the staff members? They're on page 20, page 4, item 25 and 26.
So there are cell phone allowances that have been being paid during COVID because many people are working from home nights and weekends to cover activities. And I'm sorry, Mike, what page are you on?
Page 4, which is, I think on this would be page 1 of 6.
Thank you. So they are for the superintendent, cabinet, and 2 of the directors that are doing significant weekend and evening work. I don't know if Dr. Fricker would like to add anything to that.
Yeah, they are in relation to the transition to working at home and on the COVID leave with the amount of reliance that we conduct all of our business virtually using our personal cell phones.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
The motion carries 5-0. Item 34 is board comments. Do any of the board members have any comments? Okay, we'll move on to item 35, which is future agenda items. We have 2 right now, the joint meeting with the Personnel Commission and the communications presentation. Is there anything else anyone would like? Okay, we'll move on to item 36, which is additional public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. Do we have any additional public comment?
No.
Okay. Item 37 is the adjournment, and I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Josette Temple. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it was her grandfather that founded the town of Temple back in, I believe, 1925. And her great grandfather was William Workman, which I'm sure that sounds familiar to people too. And she passed away recently. And Josette was, although she didn't live in Temple City, she was very involved here with the Historical Society and with the Women's Club. And so she's been our one contact with the Temple family, and unfortunately she passed away. So I'd like to adjourn it in her memory. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to add.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A group, and that's the veterans that we celebrated on a day last Wednesday, I think it was. But I think we should have 2 names. One, Mrs. Temple, and the other one is the veterans, all the veterans.
Okay. So we'll adjourn the meeting at 8:50 in memory of Josette Temple and in honor of our veterans. Is there someone who'd like to make a motion?
So moved.
Motion by member Smith, second.
Second.
Second by member Lynn. We'll do a roll call vote. Nicole?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
nice
Thank you. Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care.
Bye.